Okay, hello everyone. My name is Phil, and I'm one of the customer relations person of Chicago Deal Vault and Home First Realty Incorporated. So today I'm not sure if Hugo will be joining, but I believe he will be joining. So let's just wait. If he joins, that's good. And today, I'm very glad to introduce to you our guest speakers. They are from Home Inspector Consultants, and normally the services that they offer are home inspection, pre-listing inspection, commercial, condo, mold testing, and remediation, radon testing, termite inspection, and a lot more. So they have been partners of Home First Realty Incorporated and Chicago Deal Vault in our home inspection needs. Friends, I'm giving the floor now to Mike. I hope Phil would also be joining. Thank you so much. Oh, Hugo is here. Hi, Hugo.
Hey, thank you. So good evening. Thank you for having us tonight. My name is Mike Borgstrom. I work for my dad, Phil Borgstrom. My dad started our home inspection company closing in on 30 years ago, and so we have quite a bit of experience in that area. And before that, he had 30 years construction experience, so he's very experienced in anything construction related, and technical, practical, environmental, safety, you name it. So we're very versed in all of those things. So I think all of that said, we're going to be able to help you understand the conditions of the buildings that you're purchasing, and then also use a practical approach to um, say making a decision whether or not it's feasible to invest into the property, or maybe pass on the property, or maybe have an idea what the costs might be, and maybe categorize things to maybe marginal and major. So everything is like, there's no one two things that are the same, and not everything is a deal maker. Not everything's a deal breaker. So it's important that you understand what those things are, and that's what we try to convey. And we do that with the on-site communication, and we do that with our inspection reports. So the inspection we try to make extremely simple. They they have a cover sheet, and then right after the cover sheet, you have your marginal summary and then your major summary. So in your marginal summary, it's the punch list items. So the odds and ends of things that we recommend that should be done, but it's not a major problem or anything like that. Type things. That's what your marginal items are going to be. We put pictures in there for you, so you get a good view of it, and description in the report with our comments. So after the marginal summary, you have your major summary, and the major summary are things that you would want to take care of within a year. It could be, anything from a foundation issue, a leaky toilet that's leaking. It could be the furnace doesn't work, or there's a safety hazard, no smoke detectors, no hand railings. There's a hole in the roof. You need a new roof replacement. All those major things that you want to take care of right away are going to be found in there. After that, it's just a lot of information. So pretty much every component is inspected. Every line is inspected. So in under grounds, for instance, you're going to find basically everything there, and on the grounds, anything related to that, as well as for the exterior, the roof, the structure, HVAC, the air conditioner, the plumbing, attic, if there's a basement, a crawl space, a lot of different things. So it's all in there in the inspection report. So we try to make it easy to follow and not overcomplicate things. Like I've seen a lot of home inspection reports out there, and I prefer to keep it simple. So the idea is to have you, the agent, if you're not there, to understand what is going on, or the attorney, if they're looking at the report, to understand what's going on. So that's what I want to accomplish with our inspection reports. Is it that it's that plain, it's that easy to follow, and you get those reports with the same day. So our inspectors don't do any more than 2 inspections in a day, and we time block it to where we can get the reports done same day. So that's important to us, that you have the information quickly. And then if there's anything outside of the scope of a general home inspection, we can certainly tackle that. Like if you need any kind of testing, we do mold testing, asbestos, lead, we do radon testing, we offer water testing, we do thermography, which could be part of a home inspection, thermography, but that's something that we're certified in. We can do. Now here's a big one. Okay, this is something that we just started this year. We are starting to do sewer video inspections, and that is a huge potential thing. So a sewer line is the property of the owner, and it starts from the basement or the crawl, or whatever you have, all the way to where it hooks up to the city sewer. And that sewer line on average is about 100 feet long. So that 100 feet long pipe that's under the ground, that who knows what's going on in that thing, is your responsibility as an owner. And if there's a problem with it, the information is that we're given by the warranty company is the average repair of a sewer line is $8,000, and that could go up easily up to $15,000 to repair a sewer line. So that's an additional fee for that sewer line. But what we do is we have a camera that we feed all the way through the sewer line, and we look for cracks in the sewer line, clogs, tree roots, collapses, offset pipes, offset joints, a lot of corrosion, what type of sewer lines you have, if there's bellies, if it's holding water, just a lot of information. And I'd be glad to share a report for that. So you get a report with it, similar to this home inspection, but it's only like 2 pages, 3 pages. You also get a video along with that, so you actually get to see like a 3-minute video of us actually having a camera in your sewer line. So you get to see that as well. So that's something that we do. I have more, but I'd like to pause from there if you had any questions or you'd like to go in a different direction.
What would be the cost for an inspection?
Yeah, we haven't raised our prices in over a year now, so we're sticking at $425 for a general home inspection. That's under 2,000 square feet. We pretty much base it on square footage, and so the bigger the house, but that's your normal size house is under 2,000 square feet. So that's your typical price.
And by the way, thank you for attending tonight and presenting this information. Do you also offer any kind of warranty too for your inspection?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Thank you for presenting tonight. I forgot to mention that, but also, do you provide any kind of warranty for your inspection?
Sure. Yep. That was the second part of what I was going to discuss. So here's something to capture. And this kind of stuck with me when I heard this. And we've been offering or including warranties for a long time, but picture this. So the mission statement of Uber is to make transportation as available as water is. So transportation is available as water. That's pretty profound, and that really stuck with me when I heard that. And the mission statement of our warranty company, and I'm with them on this, is to remove any risk and liability in the real estate transaction. And that could go for anyone. That could go for the buyer, the seller, the home inspector, the mortgage company, whoever's involved in that real estate transaction. Nobody wants anything to happen, say after the close, right? No, nothing unexpected, anyways. Nothing that was overlooked. Nothing that was negligent. Nothing like that. Everybody doesn't want that. I don't know anyone that does. So we have to do everything that we can to protect ourselves, and that's why you get a home inspection, so that we protect ourselves from purchasing a house that's in condition that we're not aware of, so on and so forth. So that's part of it. Now, there's things that happen that's you can't see. I'm still saving up for my crystal ball. I'm trying to buy. There's things that happen that you have no control over, but you can have solutions to potential problems. So there lies the home warranties. Now, with our home inspection fee, there's several of them. So I'll name a few, and I'll post a flyer so you can have a visual. Maybe not in a little bit or later on, or tomorrow or something. There's a 5-year roof leak warranty. So regardless of the condition of the roof, as long as it's not leaking and it doesn't have anything like any evidence of any leaks, like holes in the ceiling or something, you have $3,000 in free roof leak repair coverage, and that's for 5 years. So we get calls here and there, and you never know. Things happen. So the sun and the seasons and the snow and the rain and wind, it does, it damages your roof. Maybe not to the point where it needs a new roof, but it could cause a leak. And so we have 5 years of coverage on that roof leak. Another one we have is an entire year on the structure and the foundation. And there would be about 20 items within that warranty. So we're talking roof rafters, joists, beams, posts, foundation floors, walls, columns, anything foundation. That's for a whole year. Now, the other coverage is for 90 days, so it's a shorter term one. And I'll explain those. You have a sewer line warranty, that's for 90 days. If you do a sewer scope, it automatically upgrades it to a year on the sewer line, but it's for 90 days for the sewer. You have 90 days for mold. So if during our inspection we don't notice any mold, and if it's not in the report and we didn't see it, and if there's a new mold condition within 90 days, then you have up to $2,000 to treat mold. So that's included. And then everything else would be appliances, electrical, plumbing, all for 90 days. So that's all free included with our home inspection. So it just gives you some added value to our services. And if something does come up, like what we said, unexpected after the inspection, like the day of the inspection, it could have been like a day like today. The sun's out shining and everything, it hasn't been a problem. And then maybe a month or two from now, it's getting into the season. maybe it happens at that point. So things like that can happen. So we protect ourselves. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, and you said that that's covered with the $425 fee? This is all included?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, you
I'm
guys
here
must,
now too, in case you guys want to talk to me too.
is that Phil?
Yeah, I'm here too.
Oh,
Phil?
Phil's there. Phil.
You guys seem to be very detailed with that and with all the coverage. It seems like a very good deal. Good job.
Well, here's an important thing. This Hugo?
No, my name's Edward.
Okay. Well, we connected with Hugo, I think, a couple years ago, and I think it's really been good. And we were introduced to him by Frank Macho. We've been doing many inspections with him too. And right now, the economy, the way things are moving, money's going to be a little bit harder to get your hands on it. So the value of the property and exactly what to expect, take all the question marks out of it. That's why we offer the ancillary services, and that's why we do things like the sewer guard and things like that now, and do a sewer camera. So this way you can see the price of it. The average cost of repairing a sewer is $1,000 to $15,000. And you're an investor, you're going to buy into a house and you want to budget your money correctly. In my opinion, it's a very good idea to know the structural components and the things like the sewer when you're making your initial decisions. Does that make sense?
Sure does. How long does it take you guys to schedule an inspection once you're contacted?
We usually can schedule any inspection within 2 to 3 days, usually. We have multiple inspectors, so we can always get you in.
And what areas of coverage do you provide? Like what geographic areas?
Well, we do Northwest Indiana, we do the whole Chicagoland area, all the way up west as far as, Joliet, Shorewood, far north is Skokie. So we're in far south is Bourbonnais.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much for the information.
Any questions you guys have, we're here for you guys. And there's a big difference when, because this is a big investment that you guys are going to make. And in my opinion, it's very important that you know everything that you're getting into and take as many question marks out of it and have solid answers. So that's what, in my opinion, is an important thing to do for successful investments.
Hi, Phil. Yeah, this is Phil. I'm from Hugo's team. Can you go over a bit of the report that you shared with us?
Yeah, well, generally on the report, here's what we do. Is we check your foundation, your structure, your electrical, your plumbing, your furnace, your air conditioning, your interior, your exterior, your windows, your doors, your attic, your insulation, your ventilation, gutters, grounds, drives, walks, garage, basically the whole house. We put it into a nice report for you. The reports average 20 pages or longer. The reason it's so big, as you can see, we include photos. Sometimes they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So if we see something that needs attention, we take a picture of it, we can put a circle around it, arrow pointing to it, type out a comment, so everybody involved in the process can read and see exactly what's going on with the home inspection. Now, the purpose of an inspection is to look for major deficiencies that would influence your decision to purchase or not. However, I've never seen a perfect house. There's always smaller things that probably wouldn't stop you from buying it, but in my opinion, you still should be made aware of them. So what we do in our reports is we have a marginal summary for the smaller things that could use attention, and then we have a defective summary. something of large expense, a decision maker, a safety issue, something that needs immediate attention. And then if you guys, like me, like to get to the nuts and bolts of everything first, we put the summaries in the front of the report rather than the back of the report. You'll see the marginal summary first, which are the smaller things that could use attention. Then if there's anything defective, you'll see that. And then you'll see the complete and full report. So this way, if you're there, it's good. If you're not there, it's good. There's pictures of it. There's comments on it. And we have our phone numbers right on the report, so you can always talk to us. And like Michael was just telling you, we back it up. And that, to me, is the most important thing. If you read the bylaws for inspections, it clearly states an inspection is not a warranty, not a guarantee. It's a snapshot in time. So a guy comes in there, gives you his best opinion, and he makes a $10,000 mistake. Well, according to the state, my interpretation of it, he's only on the hook for the cost of the inspection. So if they charge $425 for the inspection and make a $10,000 boo-boo, you guys are on the hook for the 96, and he's on the hook for the 400. So that's why we back up our inspections in writing with $100,000 in warranty. You know, it's not so much what you say, it's what you do. And if you don't back your words up, in my opinion, they're meaningless.
Thanks, Phil, for getting into the details. Do we have other questions for Phil on Mike?
You know, if you guys need things like termite inspections, we can do those. If you're concerned about stains on a wall and you're not sure what's behind the wall, we're also certified thermographers. We can actually do an ancillary inspection of doing a thermography on it, where we can actually see what's going on behind it to detect if there's moisture or something behind the walls. And then, like I said, the sewer scope inspection is tremendous, in my opinion. Tells you exactly what you're going over there. So you get all that stuff in a nice comprehensive report, and if there's additional things that you need, we can provide them for you. And if there's not, then we don't need to provide them for you. But it's customized to where it fits your needs and your wants and whatever you decide you want to do.
Hello, Philip. Hello. Hello, Philip.
Yeah, so any other questions you have for us, for Michael or myself, we're here for you guys. So fire away.
So can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes. First off, there's a couple questions in the chat box. Could you share your contact details with us in the box, please?
In the box. Let me see if I can find the stupid box there. Huh? Michael, can you see the box in there?
I can do that. I can do that.
Okay, and then there's a question in a box that states, what are the typical issues you see with dwellings in the Chicagoland area?
Well, some of the typical issues, it depends on the kind of house that you got. There's a lot of things where there's always a concern about, lead paint. There's always a concern about asbestos. A lot of the houses have older, not upgraded windows and older furnaces, not energy efficient, older electrical systems and things like that. And a lot of those things could use upgrades. Now, here's an important thing, too, getting back to the sewer. A lot of times somebody buys a house and they raise a family in the house and they have 3 or 4 people in it. And then the kids grow up and they go to school and they go to college and they get off on their own, and the sewer, what was used for a long time, is no longer used as much as it was. And if they do have cast iron piping, that can create issues and problems inside the sewer line. And like I said, that's such a big expense. If you just imagine a sewer, the average repair of a sewer is $1,000 to $15,000. And if you put your money inside kitchens and windows, and then all of a sudden you get hit with that big, expensive a sewer, it's not a good thing. Like Michael said, we get a 90-day sewer with the inspection, sewer warranty for $3,000. Well, what's nice is if you do the sewer scope, it's extended to a year. So to me, that's kind of really good stuff. And those are typical things in Chicago houses that you run up against.
Okay, then I have a question about, I heard you mentioning about the sewer system. So is the city responsible? Because I mean, I know the sewer line runs from the house out to the street. So you mean to tell me that I would be responsible if that line runs over 100 feet and it's
Well, here's what
something?
happened. Yeah, here's what happened. You have your main sewer line, and the city, in my opinion and my understanding, is responsible for the main sewer line. But the connection that goes from the main sewer line to your house is your responsibility, to my understanding.
Okay, thank you.
Now, say for instance, it's cast iron pipe or it's clay pipe. Some of the pipes are broken. Some tree roots got into them. In my opinion, I'd want that ammunition before you start the project, so you know what you're up against. It's funny. Back in the '70s, I remodeled the Jupiter store at 63rd and Halsted Street, and we turned it into a strip mall for Korean stores. And the city came out there and they had the street all tore up. And I went out there and said, "What's going on out here?" And they said, "Well, the sewer line broke." I said, "Wow, how did it break?" They said, "Tree roots." I looked around and I said, "There's no trees around here." He said, "The tree's going to find a way to get to it if it's starving for water." And the city worker told me it's not uncommon that they can even go a block long. So you never know for sure. That's why it's always important to check.
Okay, thank you for that information.
Bill, do you do a video of the sewer on every inspection, or is that upon request, and does that cost more?
Well, see, the sewer is outside of the scope of a home inspection. So it's all you can do in the home inspection by the laws of a home inspection is just a visual look at the sewer and see if the water drains down the sewer. The video is a separate inspection with a separate report. It's like radon. Radon is not part of a home inspection. It's a separate inspection and a separate report. So that's why most inspection companies don't even do anything like that, because it's outside of the scope of an inspection. It is a separate inspection, just like radon or termites.
Question.
Sure.
Do you have any well and septic inspector in your crew, or do you know anybody?
Could you repeat that again? I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear you.
Septic, well and septic.
Oh, well and septic. Okay, that's something that at this present time we don't do. But I would say by springtime we're going to be able to do that as well too. So we're getting into that too as well. But as of right now, no.
Which area are you referring to, sir?
Prospect Height.
Okay, well and septic.
Yes, it's just about couple blocks that is on well and septic.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Very interesting. There is
You
one
know,
in Schaumburg also, one little
wow,
area.
okay. Yeah, our area is not known for well and septics, that's for sure. So A septic tank, that's a very specialized item, and you're probably right. You have areas that you have more common with septics than others. But I will say, septics are extremely expensive. I've heard people spend 20, 30,000 on them things. So I would not, I would not buy a house personally if I did not have it thoroughly checked. Um, I mean, at the very least, if you have an occupied house with responsible homeowners and they have paperwork and you can call the contractor up, hey, maybe that's fine. But if there's nothing, I would not I would not buy a house unless I had the sewer checked thoroughly. You'd have to pump it out, and they bring a tanker in the backyard. They pump it out. They open it up. They look in there. They run water in there for an hour to see if it holds water or if it's leaching. Okay, and so I would certainly recommend that. Um, if I could think of somebody that does septics in Prospect Heights, I'll let you know. But not too many people out that way. That's more something that I know a couple people down south, south of Cook County, that do that. But I don't know if they'll go up there. I'll share the contact info if I get a second here. And then wells, there's shallow wells and there's deep wells. The deep wells are the kind that have the little head poking out of the yard somewhere. And those tend to go down like 100, 200 feet sometimes, the deep wells. And so it's mainly mechanical is what it is. So if the actual well is working, if it's mechanically running, that's part of it. And then you have a pressure tank in the house. The pressure tank regulates the pressure and how much you get. So that's important. Then there's the electric that goes along with it. Potentially, you have water softening system, depending on how hard or soft your water is. That's pretty much it. Wells are
Oh,
pretty
No,
simple.
And you also have to test the water to make sure it's safe for drinking.
yes, you're 100% right. You are done with all your saving if well start leaking, if the septic start leaking inside the well, then you're
Yeah,
done.
yeah, you're done. All right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions in the box there, Michael?
Well, I uploaded a sewer camera inspection report to the email, Chicago Deal Vault email, the support email, and then I put a link to a video, one of our YouTube sewer camera videos. So that's kind of like what you're going to get with the sewer camera. Um, yeah, I mean, it's something like there's been problems that have been coming up from these things, and you want to get it on the front end. You definitely don't want to deal with it later, because the deal is, if there's a collapsed sewer line, you're not going to know about it until after you move in and you're running the water every day for like a couple weeks or up to a month or two even. Like, you're not going to know it. Once you start using the water regularly, that's when you know if you have a problem. You're not going to find it by just kind of flushing the toilet or running the water here and there. You're not going to pick up on it. So that's what I'll say for that as well.
How much do you charge for a sewer inspection?
If it's during the home inspection, $250. If it's just the sewer inspection, $350.
Thank you.
Well, that's That's probably half of what a plumber charges. I mean, feel free to get a price from a plumber. If you can even get them out there in a month. So
And
that's not even. It's not,
in my opinion too, when we do the inspection, we're not trying to buy work from you. We're just giving you an unbiased report on the condition of the sewer. Sometimes when you hire somebody, they want to buy work. So I think it's in your benefit to get a independent inspector who's not connected with doing the repairs.
One more question. I didn't hear your rates. I joined a little late. Uh, Normally for the condo, you charge less, for the single family, a little more, right? And for the
it
multi-unit,
depends. I mean, condos like condo inspections. You know, for all the things that are involved in them, tend to take as much time as a single family home.
of
Um,
course.
it's possible that it's a reduced rate, but our standard starting price is $425. I mean, and that includes all the warranties that we talked about, the full inspection, the report. To me, a big part of it is just the consultation of it. I mean, it's important. I look at it as a home inspector as a practitioner. And so you have to deal with technical things, but there's a lot of emotional side of things as well. And, trust and understanding and so you have to do a good job in feeling a house out, feeling a client out just as much as you do with, knowing the technical aspects of it. So that's just something that we like to bring that side of things to our home inspections is understanding our clients, knowing what their concerns are, and then communicating, uh, the way that they can understand. So some people like laymen, some people want technical, some people want options A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It doesn't matter. So we're here to serve. We're here to help. You're making big decisions, and we're here to try to do all we can to help you in those decisions.
And another thing that's important, as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to make a big investment on a piece of property, would you want the cheapest, most irresponsible person to do the inspection for you, or would you want someone who's really qualified, has been doing it for a long time with a good track record that backs things up with a warranty? It's your money, so that's why, in my opinion, like if you were going to buy a Mercedes Benz, you wouldn't want a RX mechanic to look at it. You'd want a good qualified Mercedes mechanic to look at it.
Correct.
Since you mentioned experience, what are the required credentials that we should be looking for a home inspector?
Well, see, that's a big question right there. Because in order to become a licensed home inspection, all you have to do is pass a test. And the test really doesn't get deeply involved in home inspections in the least bit. So where you get the experience in home inspections is by doing it out there and being in the field. Like myself personally, I started this company and I started out and I built houses and I built over 100 houses and I was the lead carpenter. I was the project manager and I built shopping centers. And I started this business in 1995 and literally have done thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of home inspections. Now, if you get somebody who takes a class and takes a little course in it, good luck with them. But in my opinion, you want somebody with experience. If you're a realtor, You can understand this exactly because once you got out of realtor school, what do you really know about being a realtor? Not that much. You know how to pass a test. Where does a good realtor come from? Experience.
Thank you.
I have one question. How often are you required to do inspections within a year?
How often?
Yeah.
Yeah, you explained that a little bit deeper to me. And what do you mean? How often you need to do
I
inspections
mean,
within a year? Usually, people when they buy a property, they do an inspection. Sometimes when people sell a property, they do an inspection. Some neighborhoods have annual inspections, but those would be by the city or the community.
okay. Okay, thank you.
The main reason, in my opinion, an investor wants to do an inspection is you want to know what it's going to be like when you're going to buy this piece of property. You want to know the condition of the property so you can make wise decisions.
I
Again, you
think
use an
beginning of the seminar you were talking about, one of you mentioned construction costs. Do you give rough estimates for applicable repairs when things come up? I know you're not a general contractor and you're not looking for business, but do you kind of give any type of guidance in that area?
we can give a general guidance, but we don't put that in our reports at all because all contractors can charge different amounts, and we don't want to set you up on the wrong trail or the wrong path and have it not work out well for you. So we describe the problem and in due diligence is to get good firm estimates when you're going to make an investment.
That's understood.
We know general pricing, like what it costs to change furnaces or water heaters, or like we said with a sewer repair, it's 1 to 15,000. So those are general estimates. But it's nice to get a detailed report so you know how to estimate it, how to look for estimates.
How long do your inspections last?
I'm sorry?
How long do your inspections last?
Well, the average inspection takes about 3 hours, and a portion of that time is at the house, and a portion of that time is working on a report.
What would your fee be for like a two flat?
I'm sorry?
How much do you guys start to doing like multi-unit?
Go ahead, Michael, you answer that one.
Oh, okay. So a multi-unit, that's going to take a little bit longer. Obviously, it's a little bigger, but there is a benefit to multi-units in that they go a little quicker at times as well because um, you're not dealing with the things that you deal with a single family home, as in you know uh, it's just a different type of clients usually multi-units, they're investors, and so you're not hung up on little things, not that we're not inspecting them, not that we're not going to report them, but we're just not hung up on discussing them. So it goes on a little bit quicker in that sense, but there's more to it. If we got to go on the top floor and there's a flat roof, we got to get up there, get the ladder up there, go on the top, go on the flat roof. That takes a little more time. Usually, if you have multiple furnaces, water heaters, electrical panels, boilers. Everything's multiplied in that way. So that takes more time. So your average home inspection is about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and your average multi-unit's like 2 hours to 3 hours. So I think that pretty much sums it up there.
Do you send out one guy or two guys for your inspections?
We only one guy. One guy to me is ideal because if you have two people, you're gonna miss something in the communication. There's gonna be a gap. I'd rather have one person that knows everything and that is directly tied to that house, and they know exactly what's up. And you have one contact. So I wouldn't want to have two or three people out there. You got two or three different stories, and you don't know who did what. So it's more of a personal thing, in my opinion, than like having like two, three people out there. It can get confusing. I think it does get confusing if there's more than one person.
It's
All right.
more organized with a good master inspector out there doing a complete inspection and letting you know what's going on.
Okay. One other. Do you guys walk the roofs, or do you do binoculars, or do you use a drone?
All of the above. It all depends on the roof. Sometimes we walk them, sometimes we use a drone, sometimes we use a binocular, sometimes we do a roof edge. Depends on the safety, the height of the roof, and the condition of the weather outside. But here's the important thing. To always remember, when we do a roof inspection, we include a 5-year roof leak protection warranty.
Okay. But one way or another, like
That's an important thing.
if it's like say a 2-flat or a 3-flat, and they don't have that little scuttle off the back door, off the back porch, you're still able to get up there to inspect the roof then?
It all depends on the building. Every building is a little bit different, but we do have drones as well.
Okay. So one way or another, the roof is totally inspected.
We
Yeah, that's
inspect your
important.
roof. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, that's important. I mean, the roof is a major concern for any house, and
See,
you want to know what
yeah,
the condition is.
it's just important to us to do the roof as it is to you because we warrantying it.
Right. No, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hey guys, what's your turnaround time for reports?
Generally, same day. To worst case scenario, generally the next day, but most always the same day.
Thank you.
Give me.
And then if you're talking about residential ones, I don't know if we touched on radon or not, but if anybody has any questions about radon, we can answer those questions too, because that's something that during the course of buying a house, if it's discovered, more often than not, the seller pays for the repair of that, which is important because it's the number 2 cause of lung cancer. But that again is a separate inspection.
Do you offer test samples for testing for asbestos and lead base, or do you kind of farm that out?
We can take samples for lead or asbestos. We can do windowsill samples and stuff like that. But here's one thing to understand. In the Chicagoland area, nearly every house that was built before 1978 does have lead paint. So you don't want to waste your money. You're more concerned about if the paint is in poor condition. And if you get floors that look like they're asbestos floors, we can sample that out and get your report on that stuff. But those are
Thank
fees.
you.
There's additional fees for that.
Yeah, thank you. And you don't do any abatement, right?
No.
We do radon mitigation. That's it, though.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, I that's a lot of what I'm doing is radon mitigation work.
But as far as
Can you
letter
hit
of
up? Can you hit on that? I mean, when the radon particles above 4 and it's recommended for mitigation, how do you handle that if a client wants you to mitigate it?
Oh, well, usually we have we have we have another company, a separate company. We have home inspector consultants, and we also have radon check mitigation. So we have two different companies, and the home inspection side handles the testing, and then the radon mitigations mitigation. So um, I think it just depends. It all depends on what real estate transactions are not a big part of our work as far as radon goes, mitigation goes. Real estate transactions, they don't. It comes up not as often. But I do more just homeowners at this point. Just people living in a house, and I do more of that. So. But then we do plenty of real estate transactions too. So I get in touch with realtors, and if they have a high radon level that came back, I'll take care of their house, and you know
to get a little understanding of radon, underneath the ground, part of the earth, nothing to do with the house, are deposits of uranium. Now, where are they at? They're just peppered all over the world. And what happens to anything that's been buried for thousands of years? It decays. The decay product of uranium is radium, which emits a radioactive gas that seeps up from the soil. Underneath the ground is complicated. You've got granite, limestone, shale, blue clay, gray clay, water pockets, sand pockets, a lot of diversions. Building is like a chimney. It has a negative, neutral, and a positive pressure to it. So it will draw towards the house. In the Chicagoland area, to the best of my understanding, the average is 1 out of 6 or 7 houses are affected by elevated radon. And it is the number 2 cause of lung cancer, and it's a very fixable problem. And it's something that, in my opinion, you want to know about before you make the purchase.
All right. So, yeah, we respect everyone's time. We can have one more question for Mike and Phil. Does anyone have a question for Mike and Phil before we wrap up? Oh, we have a
No more
question in
questions.
chat.
Thank you for your time.
Oh, we have a question in chat from Ali. Does radon have any kind of noticeable smell?
You cannot see, smell, taste, touch, or see radon. It's an invisible gas that you breathe it in. And like I said before, with the exception of cigarette smoking, it is the number 1 cause of lung cancer. So that's why it's important, in my opinion, to test for radon. And if you have elevated radon, to repair it and to fix it. Because if you do a cost-benefit analysis on there, the cost of testing and repairing radon is small. The cost of lung cancer is huge.
Got it. All right. Yeah, thank you so much. So, Mike and Phil, today has been very productive. We appreciate you being here and speak about home inspection. You both are great, and it adds up to more knowledge and understanding to us about this topic. So we thank you as well for the help on our inspection needs with Chicago Deal Vault and our deals, and for generating the reports in a day. So that helps a lot. On behalf of Chicago Deal Vault and Home First Realty Incorporated, we are thanking you for the presentation. We appreciate it. And everyone, feel free to contact Mike and Phil. We share the contact information in chat. And also, you can reach out to support if you need questions. We can also reach out to Mike and Phil. So, to all who joined today, thank you and have a good evening. Thanks, Mike and Phil, today.
Well, thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Philip and Mike.
Thank
You
you,
did a
everyone. Good
Yes.
night.
good.
Bye bye.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.